So cozy. I feel like I need to get a Blanky. It looks so cozy.
It is very cozy, and I'm just a little chilled in my office today. I've been sitting too much today, too many meetings, but it's a perfect like work from home kind of blanket, or even work in the office blanket. I actually am. Golly, I didn't realize we were meeting on Google Meet. And that's cool, but I won't be able to share screen. I don't know why I cannot, unless anybody here is a Google Meet like expert and can help me troubleshoot. I don't know why. I need to spend time figuring out how to share screen on Google Meet, but I'd like to if I could, but not to. Do either of you know how to do that?
Yeah, there's a share button. It looks like a screen with arrow up.
Yeah.
If you hit that one, and depending on your browser, you're doing a tab, a window, or entire screen, you could choose one of the three.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the browser. Maybe if I go over to allow Google Meet to see your screen. Yes, allow. Yeah, I've done this before. Mute website notifications. Allow. Sharing. Share this window. So
working.
What do you're only seeing. So if I go like right now over to, do you see this new screen that I'm popping up? My Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
You can. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you can see this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Great. Hi, Karen. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Let me come back. Who's this? Kevin?
Yep.
Hi, Kevin. Right. Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good. So we got okay, I'll stop presenting for now. We got a group coming in, or?
Yeah. I sent out another email this morning as a reminder. There was supposed to be at least 5 to 10 folks that are coming on board.
Okay.
So we'll give them a couple more minutes.
We've been changing a lot of things digitally, and we've had a couple instances where we have had IT problems, and it's been comical but frustrating. There's also just sort of a rebrand. We have people moving to the new one, but there's sort of we're getting people to move over to Dig from the old name, which just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we went through a rebrand, and it gets confusing for people, that's for sure. But ultimately, I think it's best to land where you really need to be, and rebranding ourselves has been beneficial.
Short-term pain.
Yeah, short-term pain, exactly. Yeah.
I had to rename one of my products, and it ended up being quite beneficial, but yeah, it was confusing initially, and then from an SEO perspective and an Amazon keyword perspective, it gets lost for a while as well.
Yeah. Do you have brand? Do you have a lot of brand search on your product name?
On the oil letter, we do. Yeah, we have a lot of organic search on that one. So
through brand analytics, you view that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's
we've
great.
Been selling. I'm not the Amazon expert. My buddy is. I'm more of the engineer. He helped launch my Amazon guys stuff. He knows everything, every trick there is in the book on Amazon. Every terrible game there has to be played. Everything between pixel playing with white pixel borders and all that stuff. Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff. It's getting more and more complicated. I've been in Amazon for 5 years. And we've had great success, but it's getting more and more expensive. It's getting more costly, and it's getting more friction to work on the platform. And Amazon is tries to do these things to kind of protect the customer, so to speak. The customer's first on Amazon. Fair enough, it should be. But we are brands out here, and we're a small company, but we bring a lot of, I pay over $500,000 a year in advertising on Amazon. Yeah, I'll probably pay $600,000 in ads this year on Amazon. So I'd like them to pay attention to us a little bit. Yeah. It's nuts.
Hey Kevin, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt, guys. Some folks are texting me saying that they're in the waiting room. I don't have access to that since you started.
I don't have access to that. I didn't sign into Hi.
Oh, you know
You
what?
got you got to do it through
All
Hi.
right, let me jump off. Okay.
Yeah, I was just on the Google Meets and I was not able to be admitted into the meeting, so I dialed in.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Good move.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense if you weren't allowed in the meeting.
Well, Q and I, we just because we have one domain, one email for this, so Q and I go back and forth. Just because again, it's a small inventor group, we're just having some fun. And
Right.
but if we're both logging in, there we go. Can you see them? Okay, you're showing up as Detroit Inventors
Oh
Group
my
now.
God. There's 9 to admit.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me do this.
That's what we all are.
Yeah, I thought you were.
So we were gonna ghost you, Karen. We weren't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's okay, 9. Hold on a second. I gotta do this all at once.
Your 2-step. When I tried to log into Hi, it sent a 2-step request to your phone, and then I just wanted to get this started. So there we go.
All right. So you started recording yet, Kevin?
Yeah, I've been recording.
Right on. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Hi, Ken. Hey, Gary.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Mary. I'm good. Hey, Derek. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I'm trying to get out of this.
Okay.
We're getting it figured out, guys. We're getting the IT. We're almost done.
Yeah, Derek's my guy. You text me, man. Thank you so much. I'm like, where's everyone? All right, Karen. Here are the people.
Is Ken Johnson here?
Hey, Karen, how are you?
What is up?
I saw you were going to be speaking tonight, so I was obviously very excited to see that. It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Yeah. Great to see you.
It's actually because of you, Ken, that I got Karen, because you remember her name, Maria. We were at Lawrence Tech, and then you introduced Karen and another person. I forgot the person's name. And that's how I found you, because you were on the website, the YouTube video.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Oh, Karen's going to be great. So for the group.
All right.
Hey, Ken.
Well,
Thanks for
I
coming.
think a lot happens.
Hey, how are you?
Both Ken and what I'm kind of doing, outside of the licensing world now, because I'm just fully ventured, and I'm the seller now. So things have changed a lot, but we're still going to talk about licensing and all of that. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, I want to throw it over to you. Kevin, you can make the intro.
Q, you want to do the intro just because you know a little bit more of the background? Or unless you want me to talk about the group?
Okay, hold on. Let me admit some more people here.
Yeah. I don't know. So that's one of the few things we haven't figured out is the whole auto admit thing. It just doesn't. I've dug into it. Like, I don't know why we need to approve people to get in right now, but
there's another person.
Technology is great when it works.
All right, let me figure this out. Admit. Okay. So thank you everyone for coming. Introduce you to Karen, and like I said earlier, I found Karen through a old YouTube clip back when we were having meetings at Lawrence Tech. Ken Johnson's colleague. So Karen has done an amazing job getting to these different retailers through the licensing side, and also doing some things on Amazon. Her product is, I think she's wearing her product right there.
I am.
Super Blanky. And I'll let her talk about her origin story, but I think the reason I wanted to have Karen on here, because I think all of us as inventors are, I'm gonna take the word inventors out, Kevin. Product developers.
It's a dirty word.
I know. We eventually want to get into retail stores and getting our products displayed there, and I think that's the point of the highlight in our pathway. So I wanted to bring Karen on here to tell her story, her background, and share with you the missteps and best practices she can share with you guys on this front. So I'll turn it over to Karen right now.
All right. So I just realized I'm going to have to share anything that I share. I'm going to have to go and do that on Firefox because I'm logged in on Firefox. So let me just do that real quick here.
Appreciate everybody chiming on as well. Obviously, we've got some great group tonight. And while you're getting ready, we want to talk quick about Mick. Everybody knows about Mick next month. While Karen's bringing up the presentation, so that is on the 9th. So make sure you get your booth or get your tickets. We've got a really packed agenda. It's going to be the biggest probably we've had in a long time. God, I don't even know. I think we have multiple people coming out from USPTO, got plenty of attorneys. We got some great speakers. The agenda is still a little bit in flux right now. I'll be talking about Amazon a little bit and just inventing from home, but it's really going to, of course, Karen, you're going to be there, right?
I've been
I don't-
asking you,
No,
Ken.
no. Sorry. I guess
No, this another. Are you
I'm
talking about
confusing. Yep, I'm
fundraiser
confusing.
blanket?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's fundraiser, but sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, make sure you don't let that one slip by because it's going to be a lot of fun, and obviously we try to get everybody's questions answered and keep you moving on your products. So, without further ado, Karen, thank you for that mini interruption there. And if you can double check if you got a hot mic, please mute if you can.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do it in a kind of a bit of a format. If if y'all know how to post questions, we can or raise a hand, you know, if you have a really hot button question, but I'll just chatter for a little bit. And I would like you to be fully engaged and ask questions and make sure you're saving your questions if I'm babbling about something else, so we can get back to that. But I'll just kind of tell you where I've been and where I went and where I am now. So I would not call myself an inventor. Although I have invented one product. Actually, I've been creating and making and inventing ideas and such since I was a kid. So like you, I'm likely, we have a lot of creative brains here. I've always had a creative brain, and I used to make handmade gifts for all of my family. And I actually did a lot of arts and crafts shows over the years. I would make things, sell things. And right around the time that I was making certain things and selling them over and over again and making them over and over again, and me being the manufacturer, I said, my hands were the manufacturing process, right? I'm like, I got to invent something one time and be done with this and have somebody else make it for me. And around that time, it was 13 years ago, I was making Christmas gifts for my nieces and nephews. And I wanted to make them a cape, like a superhero cape. And then I thought, well, I'm going to combine that idea and I'm going to make it a nice cozy blanket too. So the name immediately came to me, which was Super Blanky. And then I made them these really fun, cozy, wearable blankets that is just a big throw blanket. So this is Super Blanky. I'm wearing our adult size. So we have this simple sleeve here. It's just a pocket that I put my arm in and put my arm out. It's literally just a flat piece of fabric, but it keeps the blanket on. So my hands are free. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm working. I can get up. I can walk around, and it literally stays on like a cape, right? There is some friction with the fabric that helps kind of keep it in place, but it's a really simple concept. It's that simple idea. But when I invented it and made it for my nieces and nephews, I put a neckband on it. So right here, there was a big tie kind of, and this was like tied to their neck. Hadn't put that sleeve on, and they were pretty good sized blankets, and they were pretty small kids. They were like 4 through 7 years old. And they're running around, and the blanket was hanging off them because it's not like a little lightweight superhero cape. It's actually a full-size blanket, or kind of a throw blanket, kid-size throw blanket at their age. And so they were choking. They're like, the blanket's like pulling against their neck. So they started going like this and grabbing hold of the edge of the blanket, right, with their hand. And then I thought, oh, I just have to attach their arm, because they had their arms straight out, like flying like a superhero, right? I thought, let me attach their arm to the blanket. And that's where the idea came. It was then like setting their arm out that I was like, oh, this might work. So I got that going, built the prototypes for that, had the kids try them on, and that was a better idea. And then I started doing some research to see if there was anything on the market like it. And you guys know, some know more than others here. I know in this community, I imagine, but I wasn't. I think I learned how at the time to do some research in the USPTO site, right? And then I did a lot of just deep dive marketing searching online. Did I see anything anywhere that looked anything like it? And I couldn't find a thing. So I called an IP attorney. I had a friend that I knew through my other professional work I was doing at the time, and found an IP attorney. And I said, what do you think? Is this unique? Do I have something? Does anybody else make this? And can I make it? And I also asked him something that I learned eventually was kind of a silly question. I said, do you think this is a good idea? And he said, well, here's what I can do for you. I can search, I can discover, I can try to figure out if that's on the market, but I cannot tell you if it's a good idea or not. I don't know. I'm an attorney. I'm not in marketing. I'm not in sales. I don't develop products. And that's what most attorneys should and will and should tell you. That's not their business. If an attorney has an opinion, frankly, and says, wow, this is a great idea, and gets you all kind of hyped up, I'd actually be a little cautious of that, because that IP attorney really is not a professional, unless they really do also happen to have a marketing, background, and they're really professional in that. Like, their job really is to discover, is there any intellectual property patents? What I have is utility patents. Those are different than design patents. We won't get into that, but I think some of you probably know that. And utility patents are the ones that have a little bit more, they're stronger. And the utility of a patent is the use of how something works. So this sleeve and how it is used is the usability of it, so to speak, right? So
can I interrupt real fast?
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. So many of the new inventors that I've worked with tend to talk to attorneys before prototyping. How did prototyping and then going to attorney help the conversation, if you don't mind me?
Okay. So prototyping and having my nieces and nephews try it on.
And testing. Hey, how about that, right?
And testing it gave me a sense. Well, we're going to get into that, Kevin, because you're probably talking about testing and seeing if it not only functions, but is there a market for it, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. So them putting it on was like me really getting, an idea of how well this thing worked. And while the blanket, if this was made out of all, let's say, raincoat fabric, which, by the way, I also have the patent on that, like any sort of material fabric, like anything at all, we can make raincoats. I can make a tablecloth. It's just a big square piece of fabric, right? I can make a tablecloth, put a sleeve on it. If it's wearable, that's falls under our IP. But if I did, it wouldn't have the friction of the fabric, because and my nephew, who happens to he's Korean. He was adopted from Korea, so he's always been warm-blooded. And Jack would run around like wearing his underwear and just his super blankie, and it would slip off his shoulders some, right? And so so I'm like, okay, I get it. That part of the success of this product is that somebody has to be wearing some fabric on their body, and so testing it, I began to understand how it worked. So we went to, I began to discover that, and was able to talk to my attorney and say, yeah, this is what I've got. And this is how it works. So yes, he said, no, I have no idea if it's a good idea or not. But what he did tell me is he said, what you can do is apply for a provisional patent. And a provisional patent is a 12-month place mark. It's a holding thing that you do. And I'm really sorry. I hope I'm not too redundant in your knowledge base. You probably have a big...
Not at all. Not at all. There's everywhere from every group and I'm sitting with, $1 million in sales, and there's people here that are launching.
Cool.
New to launching completely. Right. So anything's in scope. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So a provisional patent is a 12-month marker, so to speak. It's just it's a moment to say, I'm going to put a little bit of money into starting to apply for my patent, because I caution you, don't just get all excited. I've got a great idea and I've got $12,000. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a patent. That's going to be so exciting. I can't tell you how many inventors have come up to me and show me their patents. And then I say, well, that's cool. Is anybody going to buy it? Is there a market for it? Does anybody even know that? Is there anything like it on the market that exists that can tell you that this might have some viability? What I knew was that wearable blankets were already on the market. Everybody remembers the Snuggie, right? Somebody had gone out there and created a product called a wearable blanket. It was called the Snuggie. And they started the concept of, hey, you can wear your blanket, right? So it was in that 12-month period that I had to go out and do market research. And that is something I would highly advise anybody at any time. Get your provisional rolling if you really think you have something that might convert to eventual value. And you got 12 months to do a few things. First, you have 12 months to discover, is there a market? I did it a very old-fashioned way I sewed the first 500 blankets by hand. I took them to arts and crafts shows. I got people buying them from me, and I got people excited. And whenever somebody would try it on, I'd get, especially the kids, I'd get parents swarming around my booth, and they'd go, wow, this is cool. I want one. And the conversion of the purchase said to me, I have something kind of cool here. People dig this. And yes, I'm going to take this further. So by the end of that 12 months, I had some confidence that I could spend more money with my attorney and continue to invest in that the rest of the, probably I think it was about a 2.5-year process before I finally got my first utility patent granted.
That's pretty quick. Austin has a question. Can we?
Sure.
Austin,
sure.
you want to fire?
Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, thanks. I'm definitely on the more novice, newer side of this group, I think. Could you expand on what you mean by market research and why having a provisional patent during that time was important for you to do that research? Like, are you talking literally you're searching online for similar products or similar demands, or are you talking about going out and speaking with companies? Or I guess, could you just expand on that for me?
Yeah, you bet. So you're speaking with companies lends me to believe that you probably like the idea of inventing and then licensing what you have invented. Is that a direction you're considering, Austin? Or
yeah, I'd say that'd probably be my ideal pathway.
Cool. So market research really, before you even go to those companies, your market research should be, you should be working on your market research and establishing so you can go pitch to those companies. Yes, there is something out there like this, but mine is better. And not only is it out there, so I've done the internet searches. I've gone and done the store. I've been in and out of the stores, and I've shopped all the big box stores, and I have 5 other products in my hand right now that are the spatula that flip in a really cool way. But look, mine does it better, and this is why. And this is the value of mine is higher than theirs because mine, pokes a hole in the meat while I flip it, right? So everybody else has got that, but they're just selling a spatula and a poke fork. But look at mine does both, and there's value in that because customers will only want to buy one, but that might be an assumption, right? So then you go on and you see how much those are being sold for, what it costs. So market research really does have to do, how much is it being sold for? What might it cost to manufacture it? Can you go to a company to consider that licensing opportunity and then understand that they might have a profit at the end? Can you go to them and say there is, there are enough products on the market and you can see at a minimum, you can go inside of, let me see if I can do this. Okay. Yeah. So at a minimum, you can go inside, I'll share screen now, into Amazon alone and see a product. Let me share my screen here. This is our Super Blanky on Amazon right now. Share this window. Let me know if you can see my Amazon page here. Can you see this? Oh, please tell me you can.
It is sharing. something different for me. It's sharing like the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, stop
Yeah.
recording. Gosh darn it. What did I do wrong? We had it going there.
Yeah. At the
Okay.
top, there's tab, window, and entire screen. Might
Let
be
me
one of
see.
those selections.
Say, allow Google Meet to share your screen.
And Karen, why you're doing that? I think it's fantastic that there's a great alignment between a real prototype, a real provisional, and real feedback. So many people come into inventing, they go right to IP, then they find out that their prototype and their IP are going to actually start going like this because how it's made and how it can be made is not going to connect well with the IP. Then the customer gets some feedback, and next thing you know, you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to reconnect old intellectual property ideas with the actual product. So it's awesome that Karen's bringing up the example where, you had a hard prototype with testing and you kept your product and your intellectual property in alignment through the process. And they didn't do this diverging process that most people actually end up running into. And then they end up running out of money.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
that's cool.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And the reason why, to go back and answer the rest of your question, you said, why is it important? Because patents are expensive as hell. And I didn't have, $12,000 just to throw away on a good idea that I thought was cute for my nieces and nephews. What I did have was a lot of excitement, and a lot of people have a lot of excitement and they jump in and they do that. And then at the end of the year, they've got an amazing, at the end of 3 years, they've got a patent, but nobody wants to buy the darn thing. Nobody not wants to buy the patent. Nobody wants to buy the product that you're going to develop from that patent, right? So can you see this Amazon screen here?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you can see right here, one little simple way is to go in and look at products that are similar to yours and see how many are being bought. You can say to a manufacturer, my spatula is similar to this one, and this spatula sold more than 500 units last month. Now, this is just our silver gray. Like we just sold, this is our most popular color. We sold more than 500 of these last month. We sold more than 100 of these last month, and so on, as you go through the colors. So that's one way to go in, and it's a very, very, very simple way to just start for you to even say, should I even bother? And you don't want to chase a brand on Amazon who doesn't have. Another way to do it is see how many reviews they have. If they have a few thousand reviews, we have like almost 3,000 reviews. Start, there and look at companies who are selling products with a few thousand or 1,000 or more reviews. Then do some research. Then you can at least confirm for yourself, is there anybody even buying a product similar to this? So
there's also some tools. Sorry, Karen. There's also some tools right on this subject where you can put in the ASIN number, and then the category, and then you can get the sales performance. And it's rough. I've done it on ours. It's plus or minus, but it's something in the sand, Austin. Right to your question, it's somewhere like, how do you know if it's 5,000 or 500,000? Well, at least you're getting it narrowed down. And the important piece is looking at price. So volume, price, category, these are the critical pieces, because as maybe Karen, you agree with this, I always say, never listen to your friends and family about your idea. Absolutely the worst idea on planet Earth. So never
ask your attorney, do I have a real idea? And never ask your friends and family if it's a good idea.
Nope. Throw that data out. So, but this is awesome. Yep.
Because it ain't data, right? It's love, and it's family, and it's support. Or maybe they don't want to support you, and they're like, don't want to support your dreams.
Yep. Helium-10 is one, and then Derek's got a question. Derek, we'll get to you. Helium-10 is one, and then I forget another, and I'll try to hunt these links down and put them in the chat while you're talking, Karen.
Yeah, there's lots of tools out there that we use. I just don't know what you what sort of access. Like we pay for Helium-10, right? Mm-hmm. We also pay for Scale. Well, no, not Scale Insights. That's advertising. Data Dive is a really great tool, but that's more of a keyword research tool. But you can still see Data Dive's a really good one too. I think you can go in and see products on there. I have a team who uses most of the software now because I have employees. but so there's a lot of ways to do that, but we have paid subscriptions, but a lot of them are free to a certain level, right? That you can access. So I hope that answers the question. It's because patents are really, really expensive, and you shouldn't spend your money on a patent unless you truly confirm, by my old-fashioned way of literally putting them on the market and I had real face-to-face feedback with customers, and they told me they wanted to buy it, and that was proof enough to me, because I sold a lot of blankets. The first 500 I sold by hand, and then I kept doing, and then I hired somebody to sew for me, and I kept selling, and that's what paid for my.
I love that. That is such a great part of the story of banging out product at your house by yourself. That's how I launched my product and got it going. I made the first 14,000 units myself. Like people are always trying to hand off the problem. Like, you can do a lot of this stuff yourself.
Yeah.
You can make a little mini factory in your, apartment. You can, Ken's story when he started, he didn't just go 0 to 1 million. Like he was grinding out stuff on his workbench. And so really, really, I just want to note that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Derek has a question. Sorry.
Yep. Karen, in your marketing process, not looking at the possibility of what the sales could be like, and when you look at what some of the competition was priced at, did you start to formulate, can this be profitable for you? Understanding that these distribution networks is going to take such a percentage, when it's all said and done, can you make money with what was left?
So, great question. I did some of those things, but not all of those things. What I did in the beginning was, as I said, I was making them, selling them, converting, and seeing that I could sell the product. I was selling it at too high a price that at the time, but it was handmade, and I was really trying to, at a minimum, break even. And I was literally paid for my patents that way. But no, I did not do all the early research that I'm advising you to do now. I just know now that if I was going back, that's exactly how I would do it. Now, I did go in and I could see that the Snuggie was selling for like 2 of them for like $20 or something. And I was like, how the hell am I ever going to make money on this? And I knew I could not keep it made in America. So that came to me pretty early on, which is why I started to consider the licensing route. Okay, I have to find somebody who can do this, and should I consider licensing? And that's why I ended up, one of the reasons why I ended up heading in that direction. So great question, Derek. And those, yes, you need to do those things. I didn't do them all, but I did have boots on the ground discovering that the product was potentially successful. As far as what it was going to sell for, I just knew I couldn't keep selling it, making it by hand, or making it with, I had a couple of cut and sew shops in Michigan, and I wasn't going to make money at that. So I knew I'd have to source overseas and buy it. And then eventually it was either that, figure out how to do it myself, or license it. So I started digging into the licensing world, discovering what that was all about. And then went to the licensing expo out in Vegas, really started digging in. And then I did, I followed Stephen Key's book. And of course, Ken Johnson has a fabulous book, but Ken's book wasn't out at the time. Stephen Key's was. And you guys, I know you know about Invent Right and all those teachings over there. But I did the basics, and I literally went into I said, where do I want to see my product? Where is this kind of product going to show up? Is it going to show up at, Lord and Taylor? Well, we don't have that anymore, but back then there was Lord and Taylor's and higher end stores, Macy's. No, I really saw my product as more of showing up in Walmart and Target and Costco. And so I went into those stores and I started taking photos of all the names of the companies who were the manufacturers, right? All the manufacturers of those. And I started seeing the same 5 names, right? In the textile industry, especially in bedding, it's about the same 5 companies. And so I started collecting, no matter where, it was all big box. And to me, it was like big box that I needed to have my product, where I saw my product. So then I started reaching out to those people. I did hire an agent who helped me eventually, but that was because I was actually, well, I was in the process of it, trying to figure it out myself. I was going through a personal crisis in my life. So I brought somebody on board. In the end, that relationship it was not a good relationship, but we ended up in a contract together and we worked together for 5 years. I did get the product. We together got it into a big box manufacturer. Their name is Franco Manufacturing. They sell probably at the time it was about $50-60 million annual wholesale into big box stores. Is about the size company they were at the time. I'm not sure how much they sell now. And we landed a contract with them. So I was with them for 5 years. And I'll show you that product because this is our old Instagram. I'll show you. So we have a new Instagram, but I haven't taken this one down. Let me do this again. Let me share screen again. Here we go. And I'm going to allow. Oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. Am I doing it right? Let me see. Can you see that?
Nope. Other one
Nope.
again.
Yep, other one. Okay, how did I do it?
At least you're consistent.
I know. I have to click on this use operating system for whatever reason. Yeah,
weird.
there we go. There we go. Okay. I have to make an SOP after this, how to do what I just did. Y'all know about SOPs. If you're going to run a company, you should have standard operating procedures. Okay. So this is the product then that I got into Target stores. So here's the blanket. Here's a really good kind of demonstration of the sleeve. And my licensing partner, Franco Manufacturing, partnered us with other characters. Like this here was LOL Surprise. We had an LOL Surprise blanket. We had Paw Patrol, which is a really popular, still popular today, brand and cartoon that's loved by children. So in order for that to happen, I never talked to Paw Patrol. I never talked to Disney. I never talked to Ryan from Ryan's World, any of these. What I did instead was I worked with Franco, and Franco worked with these companies already. So Franco Manufacturing had the licensing rights to manufacture textiles, blankets, towels. And when you build a licensing contract, there's all sorts of exclusivities they can put in there. But they had the rights to do like Batman blankets, right? Or PJ Masks blankets. And they were already in contract with PJ Masks. And they already knew that by me jumping in and them using my IP which is a sleeve, and you can see we also always added a mask in there for fun. They were already committed. Say, I don't know if you know this. So, but generally when you've got a big brand like any of the Disney brands, they're all like 50 grand each. Like Paw Patrol is 50 grand just to. Paw Patrol is guaranteed $50,000 every year by Franco. That no matter what, they're always going to sell. They're always going to receive a check for $50K or more by having the rights to use their IP, their Paw Patrol IP, right? So they already had that built in. So I did have an advantage in that Franco Manufacturing didn't need to build a brand new license for me, right? They did not have to commit another $50K because they already had that. Right. So it was a lower risk, and a lot of the things lined up right. And so I was able, they were excited to be able to work with us, and we rented them the IP, and we stayed in Target for 5 years total. The first year in, we were doing really well. We had like 11 SKUs on the shelf, and second year, a company that I had been in negotiation with 1 year earlier who happens to be an As Seen on TV company, also known as the DRTV space. So I'll just call them DRTV, which is understand same thing as Seen on TV. They were in the DRTV space. I negotiated a contract with them 1 year earlier. Ken, I don't know, Ken probably remembers the story, but I was in the process of getting it and landing that deal, and then they just walked away. Well, ultimately, they gave me a real garbage contract, and it was very much in their control, and I maybe would make money and maybe wouldn't. So I didn't obviously sign the deal.
How hard was it to say no?
It was really hard to say no, but I really just had to read the contract because the contract basically said they could put it in a file cabinet and not do anything with it. They really not can you get it right?
Yeah.
They were not and which means they could, just not let my idea launch, right? They could just be like, no, this looks like something that could be threatening to us. Let's just not let this idea ever launch. So, so from that point of view, once I got to that line in the contract, I'm like, it wasn't that hard to walk away from. But what did happen and what's ugly about the As Seen on TV industry is they're not original and they're very copycat, and they all copycat, and a lot of them, they're cousins and brothers, and they all live on the East Coast, and they copy each other all the time, but they only copy once the other cousin has done something more successful. And once they see it hit the market, they're like, oh, turns out it's a good idea. I guess we'll do it now too, because it's a little less risk for them. So the product got into Target. We had 11 SKUs. Our first PO was real strong. We were doing really well. And then a year later, the second year, we lost half of our shelf space. And the same As Seen on TV company came in and took up other SKUs that we hadn't tried yet, like it was Spider-Man and a few others, I can't remember. And they took half our shelf space. Well, the good news was I had keep in mind when you have a licensing agreement, you can put all sorts of things in that licensing agreement. I had in that licensing agreement that I could force my licensing partner, Franco Manufacturing, the licensee, I could force them to sue, right? Turns out they were cousins, and they said, we don't want to sue our cousin. And I said, okay, well, let's just sit with this and see. Talking to my attorney, he said, you know what, let's just see kind of how this lands. They fortunately failed. What they had done was they took the patent, they altered it just enough, although as far as we were concerned, my attorney and I, it was totally infringing, but they did it in a way that slightly altered it, and it just was not as successful as we were. And ultimately what they did was they did not make a square blanket. They made a bat shaped blanket in the shape of a bat, or they made a big circle blanket in the shape of a smiley face, right? But what people liked about Super Blanky is that it's really a blanket. It's just a big, rectangular blanket. So they failed. They did not get invited back. And then in the end, I was like, okay, cool. Glad I didn't sue them, because that would have really caused conflict with my licensing partner, Franco, right? And we continued to sell blankets. Then COVID hit the next year, and then things started to slow down, and we started to really struggle. I tried to compel them to do what I'm doing right now, which is Super Blanky for adults, because I knew I'd sold lots of these in my booth as well. They didn't want to do it. I started building on Amazon 5 years ago, started learning the process, figuring it out. So Ken, this is what I don't think we've maybe talked in a few years, but I figured it out. I built the business, and this year we're going to sell 100,000 blankets on Amazon. And
Wow, congratulations. That's incredible.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you. Yep. And I'm already building now. I have a, just had my first meeting last week with my exit consultation company, because my company has value now. And I'm going to exit in a few years. I'm going to put a few $1 million in my pocket, and I'm going to retire and hopefully enjoy some grandbabies. So
That's my
That's
plan,
awesome.
Karen.
what's that?
I say that's my plan.
There you go. The dream.
Yeah.
There was a question here on this, and you've answered pieces of it. But did you call the manufacturing company yourself for those meetings, or was that relationship? Did they really sort of tie that conversation together from your
So
license?
I found all of the companies, and
Okay.
because of my personal crisis I was going through at the time, it was a divorce and bankruptcy. Like my ex-husband unfortunately fully bankrupted us and lost everything. Like I had very little money to walk away from and buy this little house that I have now. So I was like in a deep personal crisis, and I gave the list to him and I said, call these people, and he called them.
Nice.
So
It's difficult to get attention from those guys sometimes, whether it's buyers or manufacturers. And so any tips, tricks,
Yeah.
to try to get their attention, because boy, they really don't. I always tell people, inventor's a dirty word. Like, don't say that. Like, they think you're crazy and you're spacey. It's like, I got a product. Ken said that a couple times. Like,
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. It's I might
And
have even gotten that from you, Ken. I'm not quite sure where I got that one from.
Here's the thing though, and it's true. I will say that the fact that he did have a licensing agent on his name on his business card could have helped. He didn't know the industry at all. They didn't know him. He was in the toy industry. Not it really wasn't adjacent, because it was literally in toys, but he had some language, right? He did have some of the language. Do I think I could have got it anyway? I think I could have, and I'll tell you why. Because as it turns out, at the time, Target, I mean, all things aligned, but things fell apart here too. Target happened to be talking to Franco Manufacturing about bringing in a product that would be a superhero cape blanket, but they were going to put a snap on it right here. And this was the Target buyer's idea. They already wanted to do this idea. And then Franco went and said, wait a minute, we've got something even better. What do you think of this sleeve? Target buyers said, wow, that's cool. Yeah, we want the sleeve. Don't put a snap on it. Get your contract going with that person who owns the IP with that Super Blanky company and get it going. So a lot of the things, had really aligned. Had I really reached out, I probably could have landed it, but it is the way it was at the time, and it's fine. And I wouldn't say don't work with a licensing agent. I would say vet that licensing agent very strongly. In the end, that relationship was not a good relationship between that person and I, and that was a 5-year. We were in business together for 5 years, so that was complicated. And I just vet that person well. I was in a hurry. I had some even more crises going on that I won't get into. And it was like I made a 24-hour decision. So
Yeah. Hey, can I jump in here for a second?
Absolutely, Ken. Let it fly.
Real quick. So Karen, I am just so thrilled to see how the things have gone for you. As you recall, we talked over the years when I remember you when you were negotiating a deal with Franco, and I think I looked at the license agreement, or maybe it was the previous.
You did.
And we had a lot of conversations, but I am so happy to see your success.
Thank you.
I hadn't tuned in a while. If you recall, you sent me a Super Blanky, I think the last time we talked, an autographed copy, which I still have. And so very, very excited for you.
Thank you.
One thing you haven't mentioned, at least I had to step away earlier in your presentation, so I apologize, but so I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but one of the things I think that has made you successful is, and I saw it in you early, was you have a level of persistence and it's well directed. And what I mean by that is a lot of inventors, most of them are very persistent, very excited, think they've invented the next best thing. But you went about it the right way. You had enough feedback from people to know that you had something, and you just needed the right partner,
Yeah.
the right outlet. And that persistence is what put you where you were. You said no to the right people. You said yes to the right people.
Yeah.
And deals fall apart. Things happen. I mean, I if you read my book, or maybe it's not in this book, but it's one I'm working on. You know, I had my current licensee is Mattel. Well, previous to that, I had a licensee for 22 years. That deal fell apart, blew up badly.
Yeah.
So things happen, but your persistence is what puts you where you are. You developed a great product, and I'm thrilled to hear that you've got an exit strategy and something that's going to set you up for the rest of your life. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm getting there, but I've run a profit every year. Profits are getting stronger. My net is getting stronger. I've learned about how to run this business. I will say that I am more entrepreneurial than I am an inventor. I mentioned that in the beginning. I've invented one
That's
thing.
better. Better in my opinion. Better be an entrepreneur than an inventor. Spend more time being an entrepreneur than you do inventing by 10x.
Much more accepted, right?
Yeah.
They don't think you're a nutcase.
They don't think
if you
you're a
walk
nut.
in.
Yeah.
I will say that, in that relationship that I had with Franco, I would have these conversations and I would say, let's do this. Let's try this. Hey, can you give me some support on building the social media? I know that this is going to be something we can really, and I will help you do that. And I just need some support. And it was like pulling teeth. And it's when prior to that, I'm actually a retired professional speaker and storyteller musician. I was a children's entertainer for 28 years. I ran my own service-based business, raising my kids. I started very young when they were young and built it to, when your kids go to an assembly at school, that was me up there being in front of them. So I did that, always raising my kids. So I've always been entrepreneurial. I've done other things that have been entrepreneurial. And I knew that about myself going in. So it was hard to stop talking to the manufacturer. And it's true, the manufacturer doesn't always like it when the inventor has lots of things to say.
Right.
But now I'm telling you, they know my numbers. You can go on Amazon and see. I just sold in the month of May, Mother's Day, we have massive sales. The month of May, I sold $780,000 worth of blankets on Amazon.
No way.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Wow,
Yes.
that is incredible, Karen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're looking at our year-over-year growth right now. We're over 250% over last year's growth.
And you're
right
doing
now.
all this on Amazon yourself?
I have a team.
Yeah.
Team.
But I mean,
And
it's your company. It's
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you have any co-branding or any licensed characters on your current product?
I don't, and it's really bandwidth as a CEO of the company, because I really could right now. There's another way to, like, I don't have 50 grand, and I'm not really interested in jumping to bed with Paw Patrol again and saying, I promise you 50 grand I can sell, because 50 grand means I owe them, like $1 on each blanket, right? And that's a massive volume of Paw Patrol blankets I'd have to figure out how to sell.
Right.
There's an entry point for people at my small business level, because like our revenue this year will probably be 4 to 5 million, right?
Mhm.
So for somebody small like me, I can go to the YouTubers and the smaller. That's a lot of people in the Amazon space are doing that, and they're going to the ones who have like maybe 2 million followers, and you're just kind of popular, and you're a cook and you do a lot, and you have like all these loyal followers, and so I've got the kitchen apron that is the best, and I sell an apron on Amazon, but instead now I go to this chef on YouTube who has 2 million followers, and I say, hey, let's put your face on this apron, and license me your name, right? And I promise you get paid $2,000 this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's really lower entry points, and a lot of people are building those sort of things on Amazon, because on Amazon you really have to differentiate yourself too.
Sure.
And because Amazon's a commodity space, like you can't, even now it's gotten even more complicated. The fact that I do have IP on Amazon is really, really helpful for us. It's hard not to build, like if you're going to do anything and build a business, you want to be a business owner, you have to have some sort of IP, or you have to have a really solid brand, right, Kevin?
Does that Amazon exposure though, has it created competition, knockoffs? Have you seen that as a
Oh.
result of your Amazon popularity?
Oh yeah, we get knocked off. We used to get knocked off all the time. And it was it just kind of tapered off because we are enrolled in what's called the Amazon Apex program, which is the Amazon Patent Express, like blah 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 kind of thing.
Get
And
your
what that-
takedown number.
Yeah, so Amazon has read our patent.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. It's the
Mhm.
same type of
You-
thing with
you
my
get a tick.
trademark for phase 10. So on
Yeah.
our app, if anybody puts an app up there in on Google or the iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
what's it called, the App Store or whatever,
Right.
and phase 10 this or that, I just need to demonstrate I've got the trademark and they'll take it down immediately. So yeah, that is, I didn't know Amazon had a similar program.
They do.
They
Yeah.
do. They do. TikTok does not, and we're on the TikTok shop, and we have to fight them a little harder over there. But yeah, so we got a lot of knockoffs in the beginning. We don't as much anymore because it was the same, like couple hundred Chinese factories, and I think they were like, okay, apparently this brand doesn't back down. They're coming after us, and so they just stopped. So
And
yeah,
you've got that name trademark for years, so you're building a brand also helps
yeah,
a strong
yeah.
brand that people associate this particular product with.
Right,
So,
right.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
I got a question for you too, Karen. With all the trademark infringement and all of that stuff, are you leery where you sell? Because for me, I mean, I can sell on Temu and Shein, but I refuse to because my patent lawyers told me to stay away from them.
I understand. Okay, so it depends on. So you said trademark infringement. We haven't had any trademark infringement. Ken does, but we don't because Ken has more. His is Ken has copyrights and trademarks. We do too, but our patent is our most valuable thing. The reason why your attorney told you not to go on Temu and Shein is because Amazon, as I just described, has the Apex program and they protect us. I don't think that Temu does, and I don't think that Shein does. And I know that TikTok doesn't. For the most part, they have some protections in place, but I mean, I'm telling you, we can take down an Amazon knockoff. They come down in 10 minutes. I report it. It goes through the digital system, really 5 minutes, right? And it's gone.
Karen, so my experience with Apex, I got my stuff ripped off a few times and went through Apex, but I believe, and correct me if your experience is different than mine, that is absolutely true, but you have to win first. Once you win, which is not the fastest process, we had to, it took us 5 or 6 weeks to get it reviewed, which is actually pretty fast, but it took about 5 or 6 weeks before it was very clear that they had a infringement, and then we got the takedown number. So your first one might not, right away, it's not like 15 minutes. It's like, oh, I have a patent, therefore I can take anybody out. It's like, no, you have a patent, you got to put $4,000 down on the table. They got to put $4,000 down on the table. If they don't show up, they will automatically default that you win. If they do show up, it's a fight with their internal lawyers, and then you better hope you win, and then you get the takedown number. Once you have that takedown number, then they can knock people out.
Then you get your $4,000 back.
And you get your $4,000 back.
Right. They don't get their $4,000 back.
Yay.
However, we've never had to do that, Kevin.
Okay.
What we do is I've showed up and I said, okay, no problem. I'm going to put $4,000 down. And every single time we said we're going to put $4,000 down, they're like, never mind.
Yep. Same with us.
We don't want to put $4,000 down. And so it's never happened. So ultimately they just back off.
Mm-hmm.
They literally just back off because they don't want to put their $4,000 down. And mine's a cut and sew product. It's very simple. It's so easy to knock off. There's no molds. There's nothing. It's so easy to knock off. And so it's also very hard for them to hide and do something that's distinguishingly different, right? So they're just like, no, we copied. We'll just
Speaking of brands, though, Karen, do you have Super Blanky, an emblem, a logo, anything on your product itself, so that someone who picks up your blanket can see that it's a Super Blanky?
Yeah, we have. Oh yeah, right here. Where is it? Right here inside the sleeve. We've got embroidery here.
Okay.
So it says, yeah, it's embroidered right here, or Super
Okay.
Blanky logo
Nice.
right there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, when I launched the product in the beginning, actually, I wasn't going to get into this too heavily, but because I had that licensing contract in play, and I was in Target stores, the kid size blanket was selling for about 16, 18 bucks, and I knew I was going to launch on Amazon for like 40 bucks for my adult size, and I thought I was doing my price. Somebody asked, was that you, Derek, asked earlier, how about, you know, eventually I did figure out how much it cost to manufacture all those things because I own the company and built it all now. So I knew I could not go to market and be competitive at the price that the Super Blanky was at Target stores. And in the event that we would have stayed in place in Target stores, I couldn't compete on Amazon and sell a non-licensed character $35 blanket against the Target store licensed character blanket. Now it's a lot cheaper. The quality was a lot lower than Franco sells than what we sell. And quality is very important to me, and it's helped build my brand and keeps us at a good review rate, which is very important on Amazon. So I went with a different name is what I'm trying to say. I started off selling the blankets under the brand called Dream Mighty. And then we switched that back a year ago. It's been a bit of a ride, but it was a good move. And now everything's Super Blanky again. So.
Hey, can I ask one more question, Kev, before I get off?
Yeah.
Karen, when can I get some of your time to sit down with you? I mean, because I had just started on this blanket idea. I mean, I got some other products out here in the market, but I had this blanket idea I've had for over 30 years. And it's something just told me it's time. But that's not my arena. And if that's your expertise, I would love to sit down with you and throw this at you and see where we can go with it.
So you have a blanket, a unique blanket idea that you'd like to see and license, maybe something that you've created some IP around?
Yep, I made this was 27 years ago. I made
Don't rush into it, Derek.
Huh?
Don't rush into it.
Yeah, 27 years ago, I made a blanket for me and my wife, and then I made some for my children. So with that being said, if you got the time and I can sit with you for a short period of time, I would like to get your expertise.
I'll ask you, have you done the research? Have you figured out whether or not there's anything similar like it on the market? All right.
I've been researching every year.
27 years of research, right?
Yeah. Well,
a lot of data.
It took me 15 years with the gutter tool. I mean, I invented the gutter tool 17 years ago, and I sat on it for 15 years to make sure it was marketable.
Yeah. It's just such a struggle. So yeah, I mean, I'd take a meeting with you. I'd be happy to sit down. I will tell you, I've got a few weeks of deep in my calendar. My daughter's getting married in 3 weeks, and my calendar has been so packed lately. So email me. You can email me at Karen@superblanky.com. Easy to find.
Okay.
And then we'll set something up and we'll talk. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I would be remiss here if I didn't say hello to Mary and Catherine. I see that they're on. Wanted to make sure I acknowledged you guys. It's so good to see you. It's been a couple, 2 or 3 years. Good to see you, Catherine. How you been?
Very good.
Good. Let me see if I can get my camera going here
Good to
again.
see you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just sitting
Been
here
a long
and
time.
oh wow, it's so good to see you. And Mary, I think I saw you at the last MIC conference, so
I'm
good
gonna
to see
go
you
there
as well.
too.
And you're doing a great job there, Kevin, putting
Trying.
everything together.
Trying.
So
Appreciate it.
I'll try to attend more of these as time goes on. I've been spending time in Florida, so anyway. But I saw Karen was going to be on tonight, and I could not miss this. So again,
Yeah.
congratulations, Karen. It's so exciting. I think you still have my email. If you're in the area, you want to grab a coffee sometimes, I'd love to.
Yeah, I would love to do that, Ken. We'll definitely do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Karen,
I'm
if
gonna have
there's
to run. It's
Yep.
good seeing everybody.
Good to see
Take
you, Ken.
care, and we'll see you.
thanks, Ken.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Karen, I think it's really well established, and Ken has got it too, of just grit, just absolute grit for a while. And that's
Yeah.
what it takes. Everybody sort of wants a path or a step or a contact or something. It's like, no, like it's just nasty emailing, making things. It just takes time. It takes time, and you got to beat things out and hammer and email people 6 times and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a bunch of failed attempts. I mean, I don't know how many people have thrown me out go, no, I'm not interested. Like, get used to
Yeah.
rejection.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I think your story is great. And anytime that I hear anybody's making something in their house to get the thing going, I'm like, there we go. That's the person. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah. I tell you what, I invested $500 in my company, and it's worth a few $1 million
Yeah.
now. And that's all I've got. I have no debt. I'm the only owner, but it's all been through complete grit. And what I didn't tell you earlier was that when I was building on Amazon 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. In the first 2 years of launching on Amazon, I fought breast cancer. So I can take shit and I can do hard
I'm
things.
with you.
Tough.
Right?
Yeah.
And I
Gotta
didn't
be
know
tough
it
to do this.
I didn't know it at the time, but turns out I can do really hard things, and we can do really hard things as humans, right? And we do kind of have to give ourselves a little bit of permission to show up for ourselves, do the hard things, push through. And in the end, I say that building my company saved my life. And it did in a few ways. And when I got cancer, I'm telling you, it was the best thing ever to have Super Blanky going and beginning to roll, because it was the biggest distraction. I didn't have a moment to feel sorry for myself. I had to be like, okay, I got to get out of chemo because I got a meeting. The day before my surgery, and I tell this story now because it's impactful, and I didn't know it until about a year later. The day before my surgery, I put down my first $5,000 deposit on my first purchase order with my factory. I didn't know that I did that until about 12 months later. And I was like, what the hell was I thinking? I was about to go through surgery and chemo and radiation. All I know
Sometimes you shouldn't think. Sometimes you should feel.
Right. And I was
Sometimes
just like, I was just so compelled to go, do the next thing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have surgery. I'm going to be sick for a little bit. Let me just, hey, factory, here's money. Let's do this. And I'm like, I got to go have surgery now. Right. That's ultimately what was the thing that happened. And I think that that's kind of become who I am.
Do you find forgiving yourself is a little hard sometimes? I notice a lot of inventors will make a mistake and they'll beat themselves up till the end. And it's like, let it go. You screwed up. You bought some bad inventory. You spent some money you shouldn't have. Like, who cares? Move on. The sun is going to come up. Like I botched a shipment and I paid $5,000 for $500 worth of stuff one time. It's like, yep.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Move on.
My version of Super Blanky Kids failed, and it cost me about 40 grand.
Yeah. There you go. Now we're getting inventing stories. Yeah.
I had to sell it off to a liquidator because it was failing. I could not get it. I did something unique, and we're reinventing the Super Blanky for kids right now. We're putting a hood on it because every other wearable blanket for kids on the market on Amazon, they all have hoods on them, and we didn't put a hood on ours. So now the new one's got a hood coming out.
Adapt and change. Yeah. That's so cool. It's really cool. I try to, and I don't mean to dig into some of the negative side, but I sort of get a little tired of this delusional linear process of inventing, and the fact that everybody talks about the end and money, or it's like getting there is wild, and it's unique, and everybody's going to have their own route. And it's going to have forwards and setbacks, and you're making tons of money. Then it's all gone. And it's like, yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep.
But
one year ago after the tariffs were announced, we are very seasonal. We sell tons during Valentine's Day, tons during Mother's Day, and then Q4 we're really hot, right?
Yep.
Those are our peak periods. The tariffs were beginning to be discussed at the early part of 25. People started going, people stopped spending money. I over imported. I'm like, okay, I'm going to beat this tariff. I'm going to bring in all this inventory. I'm going to have all this excess inventory because we know we're going to have a hot Valentine's Day and a hot Mother's Day. And then by the time we got to Valentine's Day, people are putting on the brakes on spending, and our sales were like down, way plummeted. For the first time ever, I went into debt on my company, and that I had, bank line of credit I opened, and I put some credit card debt on the company. Scared the hell out of me. But yeah, I mean, really, really, really scary. Having recovered from a 10-year bankruptcy, that was a god awful face. But it was just people not spending money. They're like, my blanket is $40. You got to spend, $38 to $40 typically on Amazon to buy our blanket. So it's a luxury thing. Like, you're going to go out and probably buy mom, a box of chocolates at CVS and some, couple, something cheap for less than $20. And that's what was happening. If people, we saw it. So it was scary. And we've been through really, and we got knocked off at Target, and we lost half of our shelf space, and then COVID hit, and I lost that too, and then I had to start all over.
I don't mean to laugh, Karen. It's like, it's truth. It's so ground truth that it's just so not an easy way to. It's just not. I come up with an idea, I get a license, I get rich, and I retire. Like, that is not how this works.
No, not at all. I mean, I've been through hell and high water with this damn company. But I'm in high water right now, but I'm not in any way
no, don't float around. Yep.
No, I mean, today's a long day, but I started my first meeting at 9 a.m. this morning, and I've been on meetings all day. There are days I will take some time off, but I'm still working my ass off, and it's just not easy. It's not easy. It's persistence, it's resilience, but you have to do it. Like Ken mentioned, you also have to do it with a level of awareness, and you have to research, and you have to,
directional grit, because you can run on a treadmill and sweat.
Directional grit, Kevin. Yeah.
I always talk about this, and I don't want to take too much more of your time because we're a little over here. But if you're super passionate about an aerodynamic toothbrush, you really need to do your research. Like, not all ideas are good. I'm sorry, not all ideas are good, and inventors don't like to hear that, but it's very true. Not all ideas are worth pursuing. Maybe make one for yourself or something, but you got to confirm somebody who doesn't like you and is working hard and has limited resources is willing to pay for your money, willing to pay for this, right? Not your friends and family. And that's a hard answer to get. It's a hard answer to get, but through testing and how you've done it, you saw the kids play, and you had some parents, you had demand coming to you versus trying to push it. Those are some really great indicators and things I hope people know.
Yep. Yeah,
Awesome.
well, good luck, everybody. Great to talk to you. I really wish you all the best of luck. I know it's a long journey, but it's fun to have some successes along the way. And I'm telling you, it hasn't been easy. And I still got to get that exit. I still got to get in the market when that company is ready to buy me. And I hope to God that the exit market is at the right place when I'm ready to sell too. Because if the economy takes a big fail, I'm going to be running this company for a few more years, and I really don't want to. I'm hoping to sell in the next 2 years. So all sorts of things in front of me that still I know I'll have challenges with. So
you're going to figure it out, though.
I think so.
You're going to figure it out. It's going to be awesome. That's really cool. Awesome. Well, can we offer you an invitation back sometime in the future? We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Love to visit.
Any last 2-minute questions for anybody that didn't get anything? We'll cut it off at 8:15. Anybody got one more? Or we just send a big thank you to Karen. This has been fabulous. Cool. Awesome, everybody. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I think we're next month is Mick. We're going to do a America 250 break, and then the following month we're back, and we're talking with a couple. Q and I are trying to queue up some more inventors. So really looking forward to it. So
cool.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Good luck,
Thanks,
everybody.
Appreciate it.